What's up, APUSH? Today we're going to be covering the different factors of the American system and how it played a significant role in the advancement of the new nation's economical growth.
Some of these factors include the national bank, internal improvements, and protective tariffs. For some historical context, the American system was a byproduct of the heightened sense of nationalism in the United States.
This fresh sense of unity was a result of the War of 1812, which was a conflict between Great Britain and the U.S. The War of 1812 had many significant events like the Battle of New Orleans, the Treaty of Ghent, and the Hartford Convention.
When the War of 1812 ended in 1815, Britain began to dump the contents of their warehouses in the U.S., often cutting their prices below cost in an effort to hurt the already struggling American factories that were in need of protection.
This action set the spark and motivation for the creation of the American system. Some keywords that will be helpful during this review are tariff and nationalism. Tariff is a tax or duty to be paid on a particular class of imports or exports. Manufacturers support tariffs as protective and revenue-raising measures. Agricultural interests oppose high tariffs since they are dependent on the world market.
Nationalism is the identification with one's own nation and support for its interests, especially to the exclusion and detriment of the interests of other nations. Now, who was Henry Clay? Henry Clay was an influential American statesman and politician during the 19th century. His role in mediating conflicts and finding solutions to complicated issues granted him the name of the Great Compromiser.
Clay served as the 7th Speaker of the House as well as the 9th Secretary of State. He unsuccessfully ran for president in the 1824, 1832, and 1844 elections.
Henry Clay played a significant role in shaping American politics and was a prominent advocate for American nationalism and economic development. In this photo of Henry Clay, we see him pointing to an American flag that also covers a globe on the ground. This represents his sense of pride for his new nationalistic American system.
The American system was Henry Clay's economical plan to balance the nation's agriculture, commerce, and industries, with the intention to increase the power of the federal government. Clay's system had three main parts: a banking system, protective tariffs, and a set of internal improvements to factors such as roads and canals.
A strong banking system would provide effortless and ample credit. Protective tariffs would promote and protect the American industry because it produces revenue and support for local industries. Revenue from the tariffs would provide federal aid for the internal improvements. New transportations through roads and canals would allow for a heavy flow of foodstuffs and raw materials from the south and west to the north and east.
In return, a stream of manufactured goods would flow in the opposite direction, uniting the country together in a positive impact economically and politically. In other words, these three crucial components were created to work seamlessly together, and as a result, it not only promoted economical growth and development by supporting domestic manufacturing, but also improved transportation, infrastructure, and stabilized the financial system.
Protective tariffs aim to make imported goods cost more than equivalent goods produced domestically, thereby causing sales of domestically produced goods to rise and give support to local industries. They shield domestic production from foreign competition by raising the price of a good or service.
For example, the tariff of 1860 was the first protective tariff in American history that
prioritizes
protection rather than revenue. It was created primarily to shield New England manufacturers from the inflow of British goods after the War of 1812.
Why are British goods so expensive? Buy domestically made American goods. They're much cheaper.
This photo provides a great explanation for how a protective tariff works. For example, in Great Britain, a British-made cloth costs $4 a roll. But as that gets imported into the United States, a 25% tariff gets added to the price, now making a British-made cloth cost $5 a roll in the United States. On the other hand, an American-made cloth only costs $4 a roll in the United States. This helps improve America's economy because it incentivizes Americans to purchase the cheaper American products rather than the more expensive British products. As more American products are being bought, the profits of the American industry is increasing, which significantly helps the American economy.
With the help of Daniel Webster and other Jackson opponents, Clay was able to get a bill recharting the second bank of the U.S. The purpose of creating the second bank of the United States was to provide abundant and easy credit for the U.S.
This new banking system promoted a single currency, making trading more straightforward. It also issued what is called sovereign credit, which is credit provided by the federal government rather than borrowing it from a third-party private banking system.
The purpose of the national banking system was to help the United States in becoming self-sufficient economically while incentivizing massive market growth throughout the nation.
The third and final component of Clay's system was internal improvements. The profits from the protective tariffs went into building and further developing roads, canals, and bridges throughout the country. Many of these refinements occurred in Ohio Valley. Upgrades in transportation made importing and exporting goods significantly more efficient.
Due to the increased efficiency, access to trade ports and markets were widened and more economic opportunities were available. This provided a larger array of goods and service at lower cost and lessened the amount of work to do so.
This path is so hard to climb. It's gonna take forever to get our goods up this treacherous path.
Look at this amazing bridge. It's so much easier to transport our goods, unlike that other path. Now that we have learned a bit more about Henry Clay and his economic plan, let's break down some of the facts that we have covered.
Henry Clay proposed the American system with the hopes to unify the United States. The three parts of his system affected each other in one way or another. For example, the national bank made trading much easier. Easy trading and transportation, along with higher profits from protective tariffs, only helped America's economy grow.
Lastly, the profits from the tariffs were used to build bridges, roads, canals, and more, allowing for the process of exporting and importing goods to become less challenging. All three components must work together in order to result in not only successful trading, but an overall exponentially growing economy.
Thanks for watching.